Team Global, what's going on? It's your boy Lil AJ Dre, and we got another powerful guest today, and she's gonna help you with some real estate knowledge. She's gonna help you with the finance part. She's gonna help you with inspiration, motivation, just letting you know that, hey, this thing is possible, and we can make this thing a reality for so many people. So I just want to thank you so much, Margaret, for being on my platform and Boss Talk. And I just want to kind of just start off by just opening up the platform to you and just kind of tell people kind of where you're from. Are you from California, San Diego, Arizona area? Just kind of give us an update.
The story. Andre, I really appreciate the opportunity. I was actually born and raised in Queens, New York, so definitely a very humble beginning. And I moved to California when I was about 13, 14 years old. Okay. So I had to learn a whole new environment.
Yeah. And how was that shift for you?
Because
that's
totally
different.
It was really yes, exactly, totally different. But it was an opportunity. I saw it as an opportunity. So moved to San Diego, California, spent my entire, most of my adult life there. We decided to make the move to Phoenix, Arizona, because my fiance is in the military. Okay. So appreciate his service. He's been in 19 years.
Thank you for your services. Thank you.
And so we came to Arizona, and I saw that as another window of opportunity. As far as lending, I've been in it since 2008. So I saw the market crash. I saw people losing their homes.
And before we get too far into it, my crowd probably doesn't know what lending or what it even is. So what exactly is lending, or what exactly is that to someone who may not know?
So when you're purchasing a home, it is basically the loan that you apply for when you need to bridge the gap between your down payment and the actual purchase price of the home.
And this is where you specialize in.
Exactly. Gotcha. It is the biggest loan that you're going to apply for that's going to be on your credit.
Got you.
So it's a big deal. It's the biggest purchase that people make in their lifetime, and I wanted to be a part of something big.
And you just help make that process as smooth as possible, as efficient as possible?
Definitely. Education is my priority. So the more educated and more options that my clients know, the better decisions that they're going to make financially. Okay.
And if we were to maybe just, if it was like someone who, like you said today, I'm not going to mention any clients that we've mentioned off camera, but if you had a client who just doesn't think it's possible, doesn't think like, hey, my history, my background just doesn't allow me to do this, what would be like maybe 2 or 3 things that you would tell them that, like, hey, if you take these tangible steps, you can actually make this thing work?
Yeah, definitely. I always tell people, start with a plan. We all use road maps, Google Maps, right? To kind of get us from point A to point B. That navigation is key, right? Yeah. So I tell people, start with the plan. Like, it's free to talk to a mortgage lender and a real estate agent and kind of get the big picture. Like, where is it that you want to be in the next 6 months to a year?
And I just want to stop you there. Not a lot of people will do that. This is what I need my people. Just come on, y'all. Look, Google stuff. Look stuff up and make the phone call. Like, don't just, it's so much, we're in the information stage of the world. Like, it's so much information available in the palm of our hands. So guys, just reach out to a lender, and not only reach out and gather the information of who the lender is and whatever the case may be, but pick up the phone and call. Make a connection. Figure out who's on the other side of that, because you might find out, hey, we can sit down and have a podcast together. And that's kind of what happened here. But when you care about the relationships and focus on the relationships and building relationships, guys, it can take you so far. So I just want to motivate you. If you have something, come up with a plan, but don't just come up with a plan, put action steps behind the plan. And the action steps of just coming up with a plan is making a phone call, Googling things.
Absolutely.
So I do want to motivate y'all that you have to put in the work from the very start. In the start, you're not going to have a customer service rep that works for you that's going to make cold calls for you to try to land lenders. You're not going to have that. So you need to do everything yourself.
Yeah,
all right, so have a plan. So going from there.
Having a plan, making that initial step of, where am I at credit-wise? How does my income help with qualifying? What is qualifying and non-qualifying income? Most people don't realize the importance of filing your tax returns. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Making sure you're paying the IRS what they need to be paid, and you know, and then coming up with a budget. That's key. I always say, you know, it's nice to look at that $500,000 home, but is it within your budget?
Exactly.
So I always tell people, you know, let's look at, you know, where are you at expenses wise versus your income, and that kind of helps you with debt to income ratios and stuff like that. The other things is savings. You know, most people think you need thousands of dollars to purchase a home, and what you and I had talked about earlier is you really don't. No. Like, so, you know, you could take $1,000, $1,500 to $2,000 and just put that away, and just know that that's going to be the beginning of your journey when it comes to that either assistance program or that first time buyer program, you know?
Exactly. And just a couple things that I was thinking about. One thing you mentioned, taxes. I'm just going to share, this is Boss Talk, so I'm going to share some value here. A lot of people can figure out a home-owned company, a LLC company. You can employ your kids. You can write off a percentage of your rent. You could write off utilities and the other expenses as well. All of this, if you pay close attention to it, it can help with your processes further along down the road, because you have proof of funds, I would just say. And also with the plan, I would say if you're going into real estate, and this is me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but as a person who's looking to create generational wealth, my first real estate investment, I want it to be an investment almost. And the best way I know to doing this is multifamily, or at least 2 units, to where you can live in one end and rent out the other end. And at this point, guys, when you do this, not only are you securing your living situations, but you're also generating a cash flow. And then after staying a year within that property, you can pull out a HELOC loan and then start the whole process. It's rinse and repeat at that point. And if we can get everybody to understand, not only is the first step to not only just think about what can I do to qualify to buy a house, but what can I do to qualify to get an investment property that's going to change the course of my life. And I see this is going to remain constant in a lot of the Boss Talks, that you're going to be on one side of real estate, or it's 2 sides of real estate, and you're going to be on either side. You're either going to be the person paying rent, or you're going to be the person collecting rent at the end of the day. So it's just about choosing which side you want to be on, and being able to have like capitalization on top of your investment, so you can make money down the line for your family. You guys can live that life that everybody is talking about. Like I mentioned before, everybody want to go on social media and kind of say, yeah, I'm making money on the beach, I'm making money just chilling and they make it look so easy with all of these luxury cars and mansions. But I realize it's really a blueprint to get in that, and real estate is one of the ways to get in there. I
mean, I wasn't, just to elaborate, I didn't get to this point in my life, it wasn't a breeze, you know. Everything was hard work, everything was trial and error. It was learning, you know, just the learning process. I do want to share a success story, if you don't mind, especially about multifamily. So I have a friend that I went to high school with. And he used to live in a 4-plex apartment building. So that is still qualifying for residential lending. So he came to me, was like, hey, you know, yeah, 4-plex is still residential.
Oh, is it above 4 is now multifamily?
Above 4 is commercial, considered commercial.
Gotcha.
So he came up to me, and mind you, like we've all like graduated and everything like that, and he was like, hey, I'm getting out of the military. What do I do with my VA benefit? And how do I get it to where my mom's not paying rent at this place anymore? And so I was like, okay. So he came to me with his goals.
And I have no idea how to do it.
He was just like, yo, I want to do this.
This is what I want.
And so I was like, okay. So what I did was I took a look at the property itself. The owner didn't owe anything on the property. It was run down. It's in San Diego.
Perfect property.
And I said, why don't you do this? I was like, we're not going to do any agents. Let me negotiate the whole thing for you. I ended up negotiating a really good deal to where he bought the place for, I think it was $550. Wow. The 4-plex was worth over $1 million. And this is before renovations. And he used 100% financing with his VA benefit. He had no job at the time. All he had was his VA benefit.
And that changed his life.
Oh my God, huge. His mortgage payment was able to be covered from the the rents of the 3 other units.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh my God, I'm making money.
Yeah, cash
He
flow.
was like, I don't have a job. He was like,
and rent's paid.
Yeah, and he was like, and my mom never has to pay a landlord ever again. He's like, she could pay me if she wants or whatever. He's like, but we all keep it in the family.
Exactly.
And I swear he was just like so motivated, because he was like, I don't know anybody that could have taught me how to do this and helped me realize how much wealth was actually in the place that I was living in.
Exactly.
So
and it's like that everywhere. I'm from Detroit, and I'm 18. How many times did we pull up on Zillow foreclosed properties for $1,000? A lot, right? So many different properties, so many different. Growing up in Detroit, it's like trauma walking past us. You see abandoned buildings, but if we can change our mindset to see opportunity in those, gee, you can help so many families just have a place to stay. And that's what you kind of got to understand. Once you change this mindset, is I did this for my family. What if I'm the landlord for other people's family? How would I take care of them? It's COVID, so if I'm someone's landlord and they're a little late on their rent, just me personally, I can't say this on camera, just to get back into it, it is opportunities in those properties. And like I was about to say, if I was a landlord during this time, you can kind of manage your properties how you want them. And if you're more of a people's person and you're like, you know what, I know John, I know his situation, I know he's a good guy, he's always been on time,
right,
you can really help families in certain situations. So it's a beautiful thing to kind of be into.
He was just really focused on helping his mom, building generational wealth, like you said, for his family. It was a big deal. I mean, the VA benefit, we all know it's 100% financing, and the fact that he came in with no money down and was able to buy a $500,000 property that now is worth over $1 million. Like, I mean, he literally built equity for himself.
Exactly.
I mean, now
and correct me if I'm wrong, just by making that move, he made himself a millionaire. Exactly. His net worth.
Yes. Exactly.
His net worth became a millionaire.
And he is under 30, you guys.
Come on, hold on, y'all. Listen. By just one decision, his net worth, he became a millionaire by just one decision. Talking to you and finding a property that some people might have just looked past. He became a millionaire. Oh my God. Come on, y'all. I'm about ready to get up and run over here and do jumping jacks. So listen, it is possible. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to show my family it's possible. And when I do it, and you're going to see this, that's why this Boss Talk is here, because we're manifesting everything. We're talking it. We're putting it in the universe. And I just want to show not only my family, my friends, my fan base that, come on, y'all, we can do this. And how many people just go to work every day to pay their rent?
Exactly.
How many people do that? Like, pretty much everybody, right? Like, so if you can find a situation that, okay, now rent is paid, now you're working because you want to. Now you're working because, I love doing this. And it takes it takes the rat race out of the equation. Now you have time to breathe. And that's what me and Brandon was talking about, the last guest that I had on. He said that when he made the decision, he took time. He took like a year to where he's just like, okay, what is my next step? And I said, Brandon, man, you don't know how much of a blessing that is. You got to take fresh air. You got to, a lot of people in America are drowning, and you got to get above water and take a breath of fresh air, and not too many people get to enjoy that. And I just want everybody to know that I've drowned in my life. My life isn't I mean, it's gonna be a success story, but it wasn't a pretty one. I went through my struggles, and we're getting through this, y'all, and we can do it all together. And I just want this platform to be just an example to show you guys that we can definitely do this.
Definitely. And to elaborate more on what you were saying, doing what you love isn't a 9 to 5. It really is. If you're invested in your dream, if you're passionate about your career, you actually work more for yourself, but you're building. So it's almost like you're building your legacy now, and you're putting in all the hours, and trust me, it will pay off later, because that's what I see with my career.
Definitely. So moving from, I just kind of want to get more into like you and your story, and kind of like what is kind of important to you. What is your mission, like just with your whole just career? What is like your mission? Like, I
appreciate you asking that. So it is honestly to inspire young people to be homeowners. My parents rented their entire lives. I've watched them make great money, but not own a piece of property, which is the biggest investment. And I told myself when I started in the mortgage industry, I was like, I am gonna be a homeowner, and I am gonna show people how to become a homeowner. And I think that piece of generational wealth is key. I have 3 daughters, and I have to teach these little women how to become boss women, and show them like, hey, you can go get an education, you could be in the military, you could go work a 9-to-5, but I want you to pursue that dream, that career, and this is how you're gonna do it. And it starts with planning, it really does. So, you know, me and my fiance, we talked about setting up, like you were saying earlier, setting our kids up for success. And we talk about, you know, maybe getting the kiddie condo instead of them paying for dorm prices and stuff like that. Helping them, you know, have a leg up in life. You know, when you have an LLC, you can pay your children and show them how to save and invest and, you know, build that type of equity within themselves. Like, credit, you know, just the importance of giving them a good foundation on credit. So many times us young people, we get out
because we don't know how to utilize it.
We don't have that education, but I figure we start young. All of our girls have savings bonds. When they were born, you know, we all bought them savings bonds, and so that's just going to be a lifetime of savings for them for college, for, you know, home buying and everything like that. So really building that generational wealth is a huge piece to my success and why I do what I do.
Definitely, and that's so powerful. And just like, you know, you're teaching them young. Like, you know, they're gonna be on it so quick, and all the learning curves, all the things that you've been through in your life, they're gonna know how to dodge that. And you know, oh, mom told me about this, you know. And that's so,
that financial savvy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a part of my life to where, you know, for me personally, being a trailblazer in my family, I'm the first person to go to college. I was the first college athlete. I was the first person to do a lot of things, move out of Detroit. So just being a trailblazer, I always wanted that person to kind of guide me, almost like guide me to millions, but I've always had to figure it out. But I'm excited to give that to my kids, you know. And it's like, look, I know it was hard for me, but you don't have to have it that hard. Here's the blueprint. Now you do it with, you make it your own. I'm not gonna, you know, bombard anything, but at least you know the keys to success, you know.
Absolutely. You teach them the work ethic and they follow suit, you know. When it comes to, again, going back to home buying, when it comes to that, you could literally start with one property and really build your real estate portfolio with just little to nothing, you know. And I've seen people do it all the time. I've had great mentors that showed me like, hey, you just got to make X, Y, and Z moves, and this is what it takes. And if you follow that plan, like, you're gonna get there, you know. It's tough sometimes, you know. Sometimes we have to do a little bit of unraveling some bad habits, right?
Mindset, washing out the mind, definitely.
Exactly. But once you get to that point and you're following that blueprint like you're talking about, that's when you're really gonna start acquiring all these like assets and really building your net worth, you know.
And what would you say to someone who had no ambition about renting a home, sees no benefits of renting a home? Doesn't have any ambition of owning a home, or doesn't see any benefits of owning a home, and they just rent at this time and they're happy. What would you say to that person to kind of get their juices working in a direction of, hey, you can really benefit from thinking this other way?
Yeah, I think we talked about this. So I always give people simple mindset, simple numbers. If you're paying $1,000 a month for rent and you rent for the next 3 years, that's $36,000 that you just gave your landlord and pretty much paid down their mortgage.
And what was the ROI on that? Return on investment?
Nothing.
Nothing.
You're not going to get your rent back from your landlord, you know, and if anything, you just built more equity for him.
Exactly.
So I always tell people becoming a homeowner is like a forced savings account for yourself. You're investing in yourself, your future, your equity, your savings. So you really got to get to the point to where it's like, okay, maybe my mortgage payment is going to be a little bit more than my rent. It's daunting for some people, but that little bit that you're putting extra into your mortgage and building that equity is going to pay off so much more in the long run. They say that real estate's like one of the #1 investments that you can make with little to no money and have the hugest, rate of return.
It made the most millionaires ever in any market, real estate. That's so. And also I wanted to tap in. Like I said, I'm from the urban city, so a lot of people pass away. And like for instance, I can use my personal experience. My grandma, very close. She helped raise me. Love her to death. When she passed away, we had to worry about her funeral expenses. We had to worry about, her furniture and her rented
her
apartment.
Estate, basically.
Yeah, everything. And if we could put ourselves in a situation to where when we leave here, whenever God's done with us, we're passing on. And that's what I wanted you to kind of elaborate. We can pass on the properties to our family, correct?
Exactly. A lot of people, after they purchase a home, they'll start thinking about, okay, let me get a living trust. Let me get a will set up, because you never want your property to go into probate.
Exactly. And explain what probate is exactly. So
what happens is if you don't have your property in a trust or a will, it will go to the courts. And they will decide how your assets will be distributed.
Okay.
And so a lot of times, if you have family members that you can rely on and will take care of that, it's better to put it in the place of the family's decision versus the court's decision, because they're not going to have a benefit,
understanding or the context.
Yeah, exactly. So I always encourage people after they meet with me to meet with a financial planner and figure out how to get your property into a trust or an LLC. Some people do that for business purposes. Also, establish a will is super important, so you know where your property is going to go, and the equity and everything like that.
And if you're a person like me who is focusing on generational wealth, when I leave, I want my family to keep the ball rolling.
Absolutely.
Keep it rolling. Like, I need y'all to go hard. We're not stopping. And here's everything that Daddy's been working on. Here's over 1,000 properties, and here's how to manage it. And I want to leave something.
Absolutely.
And I don't want my family to have to worry about funeral expenses or all of these different things that comes with death. Unfortunately, it's a topic that we don't talk about. But it happens.
It does. It's the inevitable, and you really can't prepare for what life is going to throw at you. Life is always throwing curveballs at you. And like I said, for some people, it's very daunting to think of becoming a homeowner or what do I need to do to be successful in life in general. And I think just aligning yourself with the right people, making those right connections is really what's going to get you to where you need to be. Remember we talked about in the beginning that from point A to point B, that navigation, it's really about that.
Okay, and we are pretty much closing in on the end of this podcast, but I just want any closing facts. The floor is yours. Anything you want to tell to the people, anything you want to promote, anything, the floor is 100% yours.
I honestly just want to be an advocate for people. So if there's something that you take out of this podcast, it's understanding how to build generational wealth, taking the small steps that lead to the big steps. I am a mortgage lender. I've been a mortgage lender since 2008, and please reach out to me. Like, I just love to connect with people and help them start building that plan, whether we get you off buying right now or we help you buy in 2 years. I literally have clients that I've been working with for 2 years and they're now getting ready to buy, and it's such a sweet moment, So
it's your process, and don't judge it off anybody else's. It's yours, and however much time you need is your process.
Exactly. So I just like to be an advocate and a main resource to people. I am a connector, so I like to connect people to other people.
Okay. So definitely, guys, reach out if you have any real estate, mortgage lending, or I said that right?
Yep.
Mortgage lending questions, because this is all new to me as well. So, and I'm taking it in like a sponge. Like, I'm like, oh, geez. But if you have any mortgage lending questions, please reach out to her. She's very open. She was very open to me. She came and sat down on the podcast. Everything has been easy with communication. So, guys, listen, she's here to help, and she's saying she's willing to help you out. So please use your resources, do your Googles, and pick up the phone call and call somebody. But this has been another episode of Boss Talk. Thank you so much, Margaret, for being on.
You're welcome, Andre. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. And we out here.